This video is brought to you by
Cool Green Clothing. You already know what it is. We done gone worldwide and we coming straight out of Baltimore. Go online right now at coolgreenclothing.com and I assure you, you'll find something on the website right now just for you. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way. And that's just basic.
What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end so you can hear the full story and all the details in the case. It's a lot of twists and turns in this one, so keep up with me. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you're feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. For most parents out there, no matter if you have $5 million or $500, we want our kids to be safe, taken care of, and out of harm's way. Some people take their time on having kids. They might have a lot of guidance, people in their ear telling them, make sure you are situated before you bring a child into this world. That means good job or career, place to live, and a solid partner, or wait till marriage. But for a lot of people, that's a dream world, and it doesn't always happen like that. When you are young, looking for love and feeling somebody, sometimes things just happen. I wouldn't say mistakes because babies are a blessing. I never been the one to judge because I was just a kid myself, 17 years old when my daughter was born. Like they say, babies raising babies. But we still want the best for our kids. And a lot of us work hard to provide a better life. And we definitely want them to make better decisions than we did. But we all got to start somewhere. While some people have a good support system, or maybe they are just blessed to come from an upper middle class home, have a few dollars to get their kids the best. But that's not everyone's reality. Some people have to start from the bottom, what some would even call the trenches, where certain codes that some individuals live by, but everyone didn't sign up for that. So what happens when you are an upstanding person, a law-abiding citizen, trying to raise a family in a place where that's considered not being real? What's a parent to do? And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be taking it all the way back to 2017 to discuss the case of a mother who called the police to protect her kids, but it cost her life. Back in 2017, 37-year-old Charmaine Wilson was trying her best to navigate life in Baltimore. Described as sweet, outgoing, the type of person who loved people hard and wanted to see everybody happy. She was nicknamed Splash by family and friends because she loved to have fun and was always the life of the party. But more important to Charmaine than anything was her kids, and where she was a mother to 8, trying to maintain and feed her big family. It was hard, but she was a go-getter. She went to school and got her cosmetology license. She would often work a lot of hours to provide for her kids, sometimes 7 days a week. She had dreams of one day having a big house, maybe on a quiet homeowners block in the city or somewhere ducked off out the county. But for now, her kids and her needed a roof over their heads, and she had a voucher for public housing. They lived in the Dukeland community, low-income homes right off of Poplar Grove in West Baltimore, which most considered the projects. It was a lot going on in the area on the street level, but Charmaine just tried to stay to herself and told her kids to do the same. But we all know in some places, staying out the way is hard. Trouble can literally come to your front door. And that's what happened. When her kids would go outside, they would often be picked on. Her boys had to fight and her girls were getting unwanted attention. Things were getting stolen from in front of their home, and Charmaine's dream of her kids being safe and having a decent home was turning into a nightmare. She would find herself writing the housing authority, telling them the dangers of living in the community and the experiences her and her kids were having. She begged to be relocated, and at first she got no response. So she reached out again. This time she let it be known she was in dire need and she felt unsafe. She asked them to please help. After that, Charmaine and her kids had a lot of encounters with the young men in the neighborhood. They were still saying inappropriate things to her daughters and trying to fight her sons, to the point she called police multiple times. By June of that year, she was exhausted, fed up with being a prisoner in her own community. But she would receive a letter back from the housing authority, basically saying she would need police reports saying her and her kids were in harm's way, or court-ordered witness protection to be relocated. So Charmaine made it her mission to report any crime done to her family. Anytime she called police, she vowed to have a paper trail and reports so she can move. On June 12th, 2017, it was a normal day in the community, but the hoppers around the way were getting mad. Charmaine kept calling police. Instead of stopping, they decided to pick with her kids even more. On that day, they stole her son's bike seat off his bike. One of her other sons, who was a little bit older, knew exactly who did it. He went to confront the group, and they got aggressive, and a fight started. Charmaine called police to report what was going on. They came to the neighborhood to investigate the assault. After police left the home, speaking to the lady, they went to look for a suspect, but not too long after, shots went off. Still in the area, BPD came back to the home to find Charmaine suffering from gunshot wounds, and unfortunately, she wouldn't survive her injuries. Ambushed, shot from behind in the back in front of her kids, and passed away in her daughter's arms. The community was in outrage that someone would do that to a mother in front of her kids. As people spoke out about the dangers in the neighborhood, most were saying Charmaine wasn't wrong at all for calling police. They wanted their kids to be safe. Her letters to the housing authority would be revealed, in which a lot of people felt they let her down and didn't take her pleas for help serious. She only received a response back days before her life was taken, and she was writing for months. At first, police had no suspects, but a lot of people in the community felt it was retaliation. A vigil was held for Charmaine, where people showed love and spoke out. They felt it was a coward move for men to target women and kids who were not even in the streets. Her mother and her kids wanted answers, and they wanted the shooter to turn himself in. As a few weeks went by, police would get a tip, and witnesses stating that the shooter was an 18-year-old man named Darius Neal. But Darius was MIA and stopped coming around the area. That landed him on the city's public enemy #1 list. Darius eventually turned himself in and was charged with the hit on Charmaine, but it was all hearsay. As the case made its way to trial, prosecutors pointed to the fact he was one of the teens always fighting with her sons and didn't like the fact she kept calling police, making it hot, so he took matters into his own hands. But the state had no evidence, just witnesses, and in cross-examination, some of their stories had shifted or changed altogether. The jury couldn't reach a verdict, and the case was declared a mistrial. Eventually, Darius walked free, and Charmaine's family was devastated. As years went by, her story was made public, and a lot of people wanted answers from the housing authority, who had since changed certain rules and put certain exceptions in place for emergency transfers. Life went on in Baltimore, but 7 years later, in 2024, on a summer night in the 400 block of Yale Avenue, BPD received a call of shots fired. When they responded to the location, it was a 25-year-old man suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was pronounced gone on the scene and identified as Darius Neal, the man who was accused of taking Charmaine's life. And his case now also remains unsolved, and where some felt it was street justice or retaliation, or maybe Darius got caught up in something else, but that's all speculation. Rest in peace to Charmaine. I send my prayers and condolences to her family, definitely her kids, who she only wanted to keep them safe and provide for. But unfortunately, in some of our communities, we expect everybody to live by the same code, the G code or street laws, that everybody didn't sign up for. You can't expect a mother or a father, law-abiding citizen, to play by them rules just because they live in the neighborhood. And unfortunately, it's other stories just like this, like the Dawson family story, in which we also covered. They were targeted because they didn't want the dope boys trapping in their neighborhood or on their steps. And they also called the police to keep their kids safe. It's crazy that it went from back in the day, no women and kids, to now, a lot of times, they are the ones being targeted. But I want to know y'all thoughts on this situation. Y'all leave it in the comments. Yeah, man, it's a terrible story. Rest in peace to Charmaine. I definitely send my prayers to her family. Hopefully her kids good out here doing their thing, and hopefully they got over their trauma. But yeah, I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Y'all leave it in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. It's another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.